Hello YouTube, man. How you guys doing today? It is me again, your favorite Texas trucker, and I am at home. Got the truck sitting right out here. Anyway, I left out from home. Let's see, this is Saturday, so I left out from home Thursday, Wednesday. Damn. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Anyway, I left out from home Wednesday. Alright. I wasn't planning on being home as long as I was. I got home on Friday, delivered a load. I stayed here Saturday and Sunday, trying to take care of a few things. Monday, I had a couple of appointments. Tuesday, I had an appointment. Turned out to be a real pain in the ass to take care of a couple of the things that I needed to take care of. So I ended up being at home a little bit longer. I was planning on going back out on Tuesday. That just didn't quite work out the way I had it planned. So I headed back out Wednesday. And I had a load. It delivered down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I picked it up here in Fort Worth. So I drove that all the way through, got it delivered. Next morning I picked up a load right outside of New Orleans and brought it all the way back here to Texas. It delivers Monday. I really wasn't my intention to come straight back home, but they were trying to get me a load that could deliver on the weekend, and they couldn't find a load to get me delivered on the weekend. So instead, she got me a Fort Worth load that I could deliver Monday. That way, I could spend the weekend here at the house. You know, it is what it is. It's a good paying load. I mean, it was the one going down to Baton Rouge was, I think, $1,140. The one coming back up was $1,190. You know, $2,300, $2,400. $2,300 and some change. $2,300 for 2 days worth of driving. Can't really complain about that. Deliver the load first thing Monday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll be back on the road again. Anyway, I've had a couple of issues that have been going on with the truck for quite some time. I haven't been able to identify what the problem was or what was causing it, but my truck has been throwing a code 343. That's for a Cummins N14, and without going through all the details of what a 343 code is, essentially it is a voltage issue. Okay, typically it shows up when there is a problem with voltage or when there is a problem with a ground. I've been trying to track down the source of the problem for about 2 months now, and occasionally it'll cause the engine to just shut down with no warning. Be cruising down the road 70 miles an hour, next thing you know, you have no fucking engine. So you got to coast onto the side of the road, and then I've got to turn the key off, and then I've got to flip the switch for the code, turn the key back on to the accessory position, let it cycle through the engine code, turn it back off, turn it back on, and start it, and it'll start back up again with no problem. And anyway, like I said, I haven't been able to figure out what the problem was and what caused it, and I didn't want to take it down, until I'd figured it out. Well, a little bit of background: we all know my starter went out, and I lost the starter. And a lot of people, when my starter went out, they told me to go ahead and replace the alternator. Said the starter and the alternator typically go out at the same time. Apparently they're related, I don't know. But when I left back out of here Wednesday, it kicked off that 343 code twice. And there was a couple of things that I noticed. I did a lot of work in the truck on Tuesday, so I was inside the cab of the truck and I was idling it for quite some time. Plenty of time that the alternator should have charged my batteries. I didn't pay any attention to the gauges at that time because I wasn't really doing any work on the truck, wasn't going anywhere. They were working. and beyond that I was dealing with some other things, so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the gauges. I come back out Wednesday morning to get in the truck, and my batteries are dead. Nothing was left on in the truck except the Coleman cooler, but that Coleman cooler has, I've left that thing running in the truck time and time and time again, and it's never killed my batteries. So I didn't know, couldn't figure out why my batteries were dead. Again, nothing was left on. I start the engine up, and I jump start the engine off my car and get it started. Let it warm up. I get in the truck and I'm looking at the voltmeter, and the volt gauge is only reading 12.1. And so anyway, we left. I didn't think a whole lot of it at the time. We left. I got going down 51 North up here, and I wasn't on the road 5 minutes, and I got that 343 code shut me down. I had to pull off onto the shoulder of the road, get it started back up again, and get going again. When I started it back up, I noticed that my voltmeter was not reading that the alternator was charging. It was reading 12.1. So I started paying attention to it, and as I got to the shipper and picked up my load, noticed that the voltmeter was still reading 12.1. We get back on the road. We start heading towards Baton Rouge. I hit that 343 code again. Shuts my engine down. Coast onto the side of the road. I get started back up again and get going again. Notice that my voltmeter is reading 12.1. So I'm driving. I get a couple hours driving in. Nothing happens. Everything's going along. I glance down at the voltmeter and it's reading 12.1. A couple seconds later, I glance down at it and it shot all the way up to 13.5. So I thought, well, that's a little odd. And then from there, it climbed up to right about 13.9, and that's where it stayed at for the next couple of days. Didn't have any more problems with it. Yesterday, I'm coming home, and we stop in Van, Texas, at the Love's in Van, and clean the windshield. I didn't get any fuel there, but we cleaned the windshield, went in, took a break, used the bathroom to shut the engine off. I come back out, I get in the truck, we hit the road. I noticed the voltmeter's reading 12.1, which was really kind of odd because the entire day it's been reading 13.9. But now all of a sudden it's reading 12.1. Sure enough, I get about 5 miles down the road, engine stumbles, engine light comes on, engine dies, pull off the side of the road, get off the side of the road, and it's the 343 code, and I get it started back up again, and I get it back to the house with no problem. By the time I get to the house, it's reading 13.5. I don't have any more problems out of it. So, I talked to a friend of mine who's a mechanic, and I ran down some of the things that's been happening. My fan inside, I've got one of them Cyclone Turbo fans, the Tornado fan, that's what it's called. Anyway, and it'll run, and then all of a sudden it'll go real low, and then it'll speed up, and I'm just having some fluctuations in my power, and I'm thinking that all of that is connected to the 343 code. So I'm pretty sure that I had a bad alternator. Okay, that's where I think the problem was, and so I called Kenworth to find out what it was going to cost to get another alternator replaced on this truck. It was $483 for the alternator on this truck, and $50 something for the two belts. My alternator has two belts. So I decided to call around just out of curiosity. I called Napa. Napa had the exact same alternator, brand new, $183, $300 cheaper. So I went to Napa and I got the belts. The belts were each $10 cheaper than Kenworth. The alternator was $300 cheaper. Well, another issue that I've had is that the last time I went and got my wheel seal fixed, they put the hubcap back on, they didn't put a gasket with it, and then they torqued the hubcap down so much that it broke or cracked at every lug nut. So I've been spraying oil out of my hubcap on my steer tire. So I had to get a new hubcap at Kenworth. I think it was $38. At Napa, it was like $31. So I got all that stuff at Napa and refilled the hub oil. Added some engine or oil stabilizer into the engine. I replaced the alternator in both belts, and I replaced the hubcap and the seal, and refilled the hub with oil. I did all that myself here, sitting in my front yard, and just finished it today. So I got all that stuff done. I got a fuel filter I still need to replace, and if I wasn't so tired and it wasn't so damn hot outside, I would go ahead and go out there and pull the oil return valve and clean it, because I'm sure it's clogged up too. But I'm just too tired, and it's too goddamn hot outside. This is Texas. So anyway, I got all that stuff done today, and I'm hoping, well, after I got the alternator on there and everything put back together, got my batteries hooked back up and tightened everything down, I crunk it up, and the second that I crunked it up, the voltmeter raised up to 13.6, you know, and it was still rising. So you know, I shut it, let it run for a little bit and shut it down. Hopefully, you know, I checked the engine code to see if there was an engine code. It's not showing an engine code. Only way I'm going to know is to run this thing for a few days, and then I'll find out if that was the problem, and that's what was causing that 343 code. Either way it goes, the alternator was pretty much bad, so even if that wasn't what was causing the 343 code, at least I do have that that replaced, so that's taken care of. The kid's out with me this time, Scooter. He's out with me for a month, and you know, we're working on logbooks, teaching him how to run logbooks right now, teaching him how to fill them out. He's 11 years old. Last year we worked on pre-trip, and you know, he had that pre-trip pretty much down. This year we're working on logbooks, and we're working on general maintenance on the truck. So you know, when he sees what to look for, not just on a pre-trip, but as far as keeping up with things going bad on the truck, the things that you need to look for on the truck and pay attention to, you know, those are the things that that we're working on, and I'm showing him. There is a lot of oil seepage underneath my truck, and I don't know if it's bad gaskets or loose bolts that I'm going to have tightened up. I'm not sure yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the fuel filter, and I'm going to clean the check valve, and I'm going to try to get that done tomorrow before it gets too damn hot outside. And then I'm going to put the truck in the shop for a service and get all of the oil changed, but that's probably going to be a few weeks from now. But I'm going to get all the oil changed, and when they do the oil change, I'm going to have them drop the oil pan, replace the gasket, tighten all that up, and check all them bolts down there, make sure that there is nothing loose. You know, but anyway, I also need to replace a leveling valve, and I think that I have a pop-off valve on one of my air tanks that's sticking, so I may need to replace that one also. But I will be doing most of my purchasing from Napa from now on. They said that they can get pretty much anything that I need for this truck, and you know, honestly, I've never shopped at Napa. I mean, I always use O'Reilly Auto Parts and AutoZone, and I never even thought about using Napa for big trucks. But apparently, they can, you know, they can get anything I need for this truck. So, so I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to get them to start buying a lot of the stuff that I need for the truck, and slowly but surely, I'm getting this thing back to where it needs to be. The wheel hub was bad, but you know, and I was slinging a little bit of oil, enough to, you know, leave streaks on my wheel up here, but it wasn't that bad, honestly. You know, I mean, I could have run with it for a few more weeks, just keeping it, you know, keeping an eye on it, you know, as long as DOT didn't fuck with it, but I needed to get it replaced, so I replaced it. The alternator, I don't know how long I could have gone on that before it went bad, completely bad, but you know, hopefully I've nipped that problem in the bud and I got it replaced, so I've got a new alternator in there. I'm at a point, hopefully, where I'm able to start fixing things on this truck before they go bad, instead of waiting until after they go bad. Okay, I'm considering, you know, keep in mind that I'm not a diesel mechanic, and I don't honestly know a lot about being a diesel mechanic, but I am mechanically inclined, and I do believe that I can do, you know, my own work on my truck. I've got a pretty decent assortment of tools, and I think that there's a lot of things I can do. I just need to learn how to do it. I'm really thinking about taking the valve covers off of this truck and doing whatever I need to do up in there. You know, fixing the top end. You know, I don't know what else needs to be done up there. I need a mechanic is what I need, who is willing to sit down and explain to me what all is involved in doing an end frame. I would like to be able to do my own end frame, to do the work myself without having to rely on somebody else to do it. You know, and so I need to find somebody who is a mechanic, a diesel mechanic, who can actually sit down and explain to me what I need to do and what I should stay the fuck away from doing. But I would like to get into that engine and, you know, fix what I can fix, or fix things before they break, you know. And anyway, that's just kind of where my thoughts are. But I do want to pull the valve covers and look inside, see what's going on inside of there, see what the inside of that engine looks like. You know, even if all I'm doing is pulling the valve covers, replacing the gaskets, and just checking everything to make sure it's not all gunked up, or, you know, anything in there is busted up. So I'm going to be trying to learn as much as I can along that line. Things are pretty good right now. My last week out before home time, man, I had some really good runs. Everything was averaging about 222 to, I guess it was about 222 a mile before the 80% come out. After the 80% come out, everything was running. I was getting between $1.85 and $2 a mile, somewhere in that area, which isn't great, you know, when you're talking about tankers or flatbed or something like that, but it's pretty damn decent, you know, when you're talking about dry box, you know. So I have no complaints. And everything was run down between Georgia and Alabama last month, which is how, you know, or last week or so I was out, which is how I like it. So, you know, that's kind of the way things stand at the moment, and I just kind of wanted to give you all an update from home. We're going to go ahead and load this video up there. And I got a lot of friends that are really seriously considering making the move to become an owner-operator. I'm going to put this out there for you right now. Take it for what it's worth. I'm willing to help you along as much as I'm able. Keep in mind that I'm still learning, you know. Some of this stuff I'm learning the hard way. But I am willing to help you in any way that I can. If nothing more than just kind of explaining how I did things, why I did things the way I did it, what my thought process was in it, and you know, how that's worked out for me. So you know, I've looked into getting my own authority, and I've chosen not to do that for right now. I'm going to wait till I have at least 2 or 3 trucks before I take that route. But if you're looking to be an owner-operator and you're really wanting some input from somebody that's in the process or that's doing it, and holler at me, I'll be happy to help you. Alright, y'all take care. Share the video, like the video, subscribe, get friends to subscribe, and man, I really appreciate all y'all's support. Man, y'all have been great, and we'll be headed back out again on Monday morning. I'm gonna do the fuel stuff tomorrow, hopefully get it taken care of, and then I'll be out of here on the road again first thing in the morning. I got to go get a damn filter wrench. I can't find mine. So y'all take care, man. Peace out.